Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Gregory Wright Show. Today is September 16th, 2025. I got some breaking news. There were two men that were hung yesterday, Monday, September 15th, 2025. Two men, two lives. We'll get to whatever information I have available right now at this moment, and we will also get to the lies.
Ross Adams live in the studio this afternoon. He's been following the story at Delta State all day. Ross, what are investigators saying?
Well, Troy, we are just hours into the investigation of this disturbing discovery on the Cleveland campus. Now, here is what we know right now. According to the Delta State Police Chief, they got a call around 7 o'clock Monday morning. First officers on the scene found the body of 21-year-old DeMartravion Trey Reed. He was hanging from a tree near the pickleball court that's in the central part of the campus. Reed is a Delta State student from Grenada. Now, there is already rampant social media speculation about what happened to Reed. At this point, investigators say there is no evidence of foul play.
But we, of course, again, with our partners, we've investigated every avenue, and again, we continue to investigate.
The university has contacted the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Cleveland Police Department, and the Bolivar County Sheriff's Office to assist them in the investigation. Today was supposed to be a happy day on the Delta State campus, celebrating its 100th anniversary. Instead, they are mourning the loss of this student. Classes were canceled Monday, and it's unclear if they will resume on Tuesday. Back to you, Troy.
All right, Ross, thank you. 16W8.
All right, so you got the first story. That's the first guy that got hung yesterday, September 15, 2025. Trey Reed, black guy from Grenada, attended Delta University in Mississippi. They claimed it was no foul play, but, at this time, we don't know if it was foul play or not foul play. So I just find it very interesting that they'll say at this time there's no foul play. Instead of saying something like it is too early in the investigation to determine whether foul play happened or not. I think that would have been a more accurate statement. And so I'm going to go from the first story to the second story here of Corey Zakakis, which is a much shorter story than the one that we just played. And if I can find it real quick, please bear with me. Here is the second story that I want to reveal to my audience and people who stumble across my channel.
We have new details about the body found hanging from a tree in a wooded area in Vicksburg on Monday. Now, according to the Warren County Coroner Corey Zakakis, a white male and resident of Brandon, Mississippi, was identified on Monday afternoon in the 4100 block of Washington Street near Ameristar Casino. His body is being sent to the state crime lab for an autopsy.
I want to wind that back real quick.
This is the second reported hanging in Mississippi in less than 20 minutes. New details about the body found hanging from a tree in a wooded area in Vicksburg on Monday. Now, according to the Warren County Coroner Corey Zakakis, a white male and resident of
a white male, right? So the first story was about a black male from Grenada. And then the second story is about a white male who got hung also yesterday originally from Florida.
Brandon, Mississippi, was identified on Monday afternoon in the 4100 block of Washington Street near Ameristar Casino. His body is being sent to the state crime lab for an autopsy. This is the second reported hanging in Mississippi in less than 24 hours.
Okay, so there you had that. You heard that. Let's go to X. So before we go to X and expose the misinformation, disinformation on this social media platform. First, my opinion on the two stories you just heard. First of all, I don't care who you are. When a person gets killed, that's one too many. And I don't care if you any skin color, male, female, I don't care. Or you dibble and dabble in other transgender identities and all this other kind of stuff. I don't care. You are a human being and you do not deserve to be killed. Just like these two men that were killed yesterday, hung from a tree. So that assumes that there has been foul play, and I don't believe that I'm in a position to say whether or not it was foul play ahead of the investigation. But what I know and what I've read rather about suicide, especially by hanging, I mean, that is the most agonizing way to die. One of the most agonizing ways to die. Most people would, and I'm not condoning suicide at all. I'm just having this conversation with you guys. Most suicide attempts are quick and swift, so that there's no pain. I guess there'll be initial pain, but no agonizing pain and something that's going to take them out real quick. And I think there's statistics on it where the chosen weapon for suicide is like a revolver or a handgun. Pills and all that other kind of stuff is probably, if not first, close second, and the most preferred method to pass along or commit that kind of act on yourself that's going to end your life. And so using common sense and looking at the statistics and forming an opinion, I would think that this is something nefarious that went on. It involved another person or group of people that enabled this. And I find it newsworthy because the national news networks are not, the syndicated networks, they're not reporting on this. 27 seconds for, Corey Sapatis, and then, nearly 2 minutes on Trey Reed. I don't want to make that an issue, but in both cases, it's not being covered too much. And this stuff happened yesterday, and we don't really have any information. And so the last thing I'll say before we get to the X comments is that I think the police force needs to act more rapidly in coming to a determination of what actually happened, especially in a crime like this. It could be a shooting, it could be a hanging, it could be a stabbing. But when the final result ends up in a fatality, we need to be a lot quicker than that. We really do. Why does it take so damn long, man? Especially on the Delta University campus where they got daggone cameras everywhere. You mean to tell me that you can't see this person hanging himself from a tree, or a group of people hanging them from a tree, whichever way this thing is going to go? You got Big Brother everywhere. I can't go to the ATM. I can't pump gas without being on camera, man. What are you talking about? Oh, well, we don't have any developments and stuff like that. Man, they got to be quicker than this, because online there's a whole lot of misinformation, disinformation, that we will be getting into right now. Please bear with me as I scroll, okay? Because this is important, and you really want to know what's dividing people today. What's dividing people today is the internet, and the information that they get from the internet is not all true. It's not all true. Let me get to this real quick. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that propaganda, but Wheezy Proud Register is posted this 2 hours ago and said that 2 young black men were found hanging from a tree, right? And then they do this little mural or whatever that damn thing is, tribute, right? No. These were the 2 guys that were hung. 2 young men, 21 years old, Trey Reed to the left, and 36-year-old Corey Zukatas on the right. Trey Reed was a student at Delta University. Corey Zukatas was a homeless person that lived in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And he was in and out of his stepfather's home, or whatever the case. I don't know what the situation is. All the information is vague right now. I think purposely, with all the information, all the cameras we got going on, all the investigative reporting that these national news media networks are capable of doing. And you mean to tell me that this is not national news? I got to go digging for this information. I got to go to a Mississippi website or type in Mississippi to get the local news for this joint. We still hanging people in 2025? I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but not today. Not today, unless you in the mob or doing something dumb. But it's just ridiculous, right? So, and then on the second video that I played for you guys, you heard the reporter say that Corey Zukatas was a white male. Here you go, right? But they got a picture of this dude right here. Now, they got a picture of this dude. I don't know his name. He wasn't hung yesterday. He was hung in 2024. This guy was hung in 2024. Okay? So what's going on? I think Elon Musk has got to do a better job at fact checking these people. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm just gonna tell you, man. I think that the powers that be, they're trying to start a race war up in here, b. Yo, yo. Things have calmed down since the Civil War and stuff like that, and I really want things to remain calm. But there's the powers that be that they just ramping this shit up. They ramping it up, especially in the backdrop, the event that took place last week on the assassination on one of our Republican comrades, right? The powers that be want to bring civil war, white against black, a race war. And I got to tell you, man, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Okay? Do your research, do your due diligence, man. That's why I got this channel. That's why I got this channel. Because most of y'all just going to gloss through the headlines or have the news playing in the local news playing in the background, and then all you going to hear is 2 black men hung in Mississippi. It's false. It's untrue. Thanks for joining. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.